wanted to do a video on the basics of presets so you get an idea for how presets are built, what they're good for, and how you can use them. So we're in the develop module of Lightroom on a photo I took from Fort Ticonderoga. This is after they fired off the cannon. So over here on the left-hand side, you can see a series of presets. By hovering over the preset, you can see what it would actually do to the picture. And there's different kind of presets made for different things. You can buy presets. I've got a couple of packs here. And you can see what they do for changes. If you want, you can click on a preset. It will show you what those actual changes are. So if you see one in here that you really like, you can click on it and then make some tweaks to it. It helps you get a little bit of a leg up on your work. But right now we're going to start over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to click Auto by Tone, which is going to change the image quite a bit. Now I'm going to go down here to hold down on whites. I'm going to remove that slider while I hold down the Alt key on my PC, and I can see I can see a little bit of the whites. Blacks, I'm going to do the same thing. And this is to change the histogram a little bit and pull a little bit more in. Notice my vibrance is up quite a bit. We can up the clarity a little on the picture. If I wanted to, I could do some curves and some color grading on it. But let's say I'm happy with that picture. I can go over here, as everything changes as I do that, and go to Presets. This is a little plus over on the side where you can add a new preset and you can create the preset. Give it a good title. I'm just going to call it Test Preset here. And you can choose what settings you want. So you can do the auto settings like I just did. You notice that takes off the basic tone options. I didn't do any color grading. One thing to keep in mind is if you do a lens correction, you probably want to bring that across. This will help you out in a couple of places. So you can do whatever sharpening you did in there, any color adjustments and things. I adjusted clarity, so I have to make sure that I turn that on so that it gets carried across. And where do you want to put it? Put it in User Presets and Create. Now, why would I create a preset? There's two reasons that you would create a preset. One is you have a series of photos that are similar. You can apply the preset across all of them. You could have a particular style that you like to do. You could create a preset for that style and apply it to all your photographs. The other thing you can do is you can create a preset that's based off of your lens. Once that's saved, then when you do an import, go back over here to Library for a second. In your import options, there is a Develop Settings, Apply during import. You can go in here and you can pick any one of the presets that you've got, and it'll apply it automatically to the pictures when you bring them in. So you could go in here into Lightroom, set up a preset with your lens that you used, etc. Then come over into Develop Settings, save that off, and then apply that to every photo that comes in. So if you're doing landscapes, for example, and you've got some things you want to do with those landscapes, you can set it up so that all of the landscapes come in and get processed in a particular way right off the bat. If you were playing around with something that you thought would look good in some of these presets that you have purchased, you could go through and apply that preset as well to it so that you can just go through and do a quick stage of how you want the photo to look. So notice that I had the Canon one in here. There's our test preset. Under general presets, I have this nature, landscape, clarity, sharp, and detail. I can click that. Then I can go over here to the develop pane and I can say, what did I do? I changed the exposure. I changed the contrast. All of these settings are here. Now, if it's not on auto, it's not going to think about the picture that you've got. It's going to just default these to particular values. So if we went to test preset, this was using auto. It's still using auto, so it's specific to this picture with my clarity change to it. So it's handled everything else for me. And again, you can grab any one of these that you like. There was a particularly interesting one under the Surge ones. If I can find it here, I think it was the Urban. Yes. And you can say, wow, that looks really interesting. I kind of like it, but there's some things I don't like about it. And you can come over here and you can see what the settings is. Contrast is 100%. The highlights are at 45, the shadows are at 0, the whites are at 60, and the blacks are at 88. Now, if you wanted to say, okay, well, I don't like the way the highlights are or the contrast, you can double-click on contrast, and that'll take that back to the default of 0. And you can do that with any of these so that you can go through and you can make it your own just by going through and making modifications to it. Don't like what you did, go back, click the preset again. It'll put everything back the way it was. Find something that you like in here, go up to your presets, click plus, and you're ready to go. So this is just a basic on the presets. Again, you're trying to just come up with a quick way that you can make an image get partially edited. You'll finish it off yourself and add your own take to it. But this allows you to get part of the way there so that you're not spending hours going through trying to figure out what's going on with these. And the nice part about it is some of these things that you're going to find, the presets that are made, somebody spent a lot of time going through trying to make them look the way they wanted them. And this allows you to go through and use somebody else's work as a starting point for you to go through and do your own.